Welcome. I made this spalted beech cabinet a short while ago, and I've been trying to think of a way of building a catch for the door. I don't want to buy anything. I was struggling to find anything of a suitable size for the cabinet anyway, because it's quite a small cabinet. I considered using hook and loop, which seemed to be about the only thing of the right sort of size, but I didn't really like the appearance of that. So what I'm going to do is try and use these offcuts of brass I've got and design my own catch for this door. Hopefully it'll work, but if it doesn't, I've not lost anything and I can try something else. So the first step is just to flatten this piece of brass to make it usable. I know I could anneal it, heat it up and make the brass a little bit softer, but this is such a small piece that I'm not too worried about that, and I think it'll be absolutely fine just hitting it with a hammer. And the split pin you can see here is just something I got in a purchase of some scrap brass, but I think it'll work for what I'm thinking for this door catch. The first step here is just cut through the brass. I'm cutting it slightly oversized at this stage and probably cut it down once I've got a better idea what size I need. So as you can see, I've put a 90-degree bend in the piece of brass, and I'm just experimenting to see how I want to attach it to the cabinet. What appearance do I want at the end? This piece of brass is obviously too big and not that attractive as it is at the minute, so I may need to adjust it if it's going to be visible. Now I'm going to nibble the edges of the brass just to change the shape of it. I've got this fairly stable and my fingers are not as close as it appears, but you have to take precautions and you have to be responsible for your own safety in the workshop. So if this seems dangerous to you, there are plenty of other ways to do it. Use some pliers to hold it or use a different machine. I'm fairly comfortable with this. I've used this for a long time and I've got a good idea when it's safe and when it's not for the work I do. And so straight off the bandsaw you can see that this is fairly rough. It has rounded the edges and it's a little bit more attractive, a little smaller. I think it's going to function quite well, but it needs a good tidy up. Now I did consider getting the Dremel out and using that to do this. It would have been quicker, but it would also have been noisier, and I often choose tools to try and reduce the amount of noise I'm making. I do live close to a lot of other people, and wherever I can use hand tools, that's generally my preference. And as you can see, I've sped this up because it did take several minutes to get a decent finish on the brass. And now I've done the coarse file, I'm moving to a finer file to smooth this down. The anvil I'm using here is something I built in a previous episode, so if you'd like to see how to build something like this, go look in my playlist or in my catalogue of YouTube clips and you'll find it there. It's now looking a lot smoother, a lot shinier, and the appearance is much better than it was previously. So I'm just testing it before I attach it to the lid. And now it's attached. I'm really pleased with the way it works. I considered attaching a loop or maybe some leather to keep the pin in place, but I actually quite like this. I've got the opportunity to change it later if I lose the pin or I keep dropping it, but I'm quite happy with the way it is. So let me know in the comments, what sort of catch would you have used on a cabinet like this? Would you have gone for magnets? Would you have built your own catch? Would you have purchased something? Always interested in ideas you've got. I might try and use some of them in a different project in the future. So if you've enjoyed this, please subscribe and we'll see you on the next one.